Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome back to our next video on using AI for writing. We're going to continue with our little series that is going to be about using ChatGPT for brainstorming. Now, the last one kind of did a little overview on what I felt were the best things that ChatGPT could be used for, specifically uh, getting title ideas was what I focused on in that one, and generally talking about how I feel that it is really good at expanding on ideas you've had. It's very good at doing that and giving you specific things. But let's say that you have kind of a real general idea of something. You're not really sure what your plot is going to be. You just maybe you have a couple of movies that you'd like to smash together, but you're not really sure. Sorry about that. Sometimes I have a thing that happens, but you're not really sure how to get it to work. This is another thing that I find that ChatGPT is absolutely amazing at, is that you can take the most screwball mishmash ideas and it will give you something. It isn't always going to be usable, but it will give you something. Because it's a machine, it is never going to say, I don't know how to do that. You're crazy. That doesn't go together at all. It's going to give you something. Case in point, let's come up with give me some plot ideas mixing Gone with the Wind, Jurassic Park, and Beetlejuice. And it's always polite and nice to you. It never tells you that you're being an idiot. See, and it gives you, it gave, usually it does around 5 to 8, I find. Now, obviously, these are very, very different things that I literally threw together just for the purpose of showing that it is possible to get something out of just about any nonsensical mishmash. So let's take a look at this first one. Tone: epic gothic adventure, tragic romance meets prehistoric mayhem. Post-Civil War American South, where a wealthy family tries to restore their ruined plantation using strange resurrection fossils brought from an exhibition in the Caribbean. So, after the war, resourceful widow Scarlett DeVere invests in a daring project, reanimating prehistoric creatures to repopulate her devastated lands and draw tourists. When the creatures turn feral, her estate becomes a blood-soaked battlefield of survival and social status. Meanwhile, the ghost of her late husband, now a sarcastic Beetlejuice-style trickster, tries to help her run the estate, making everything worse. As the South burns again, Scarlet must decide cling to her crumbling old world or embrace chaos, living, dead, and prehistoric. Okay. Ghost of Cretaceous Manor, horror comedy with gothic southern flair and dark humor. Modern day Georgia at a crumbling antebellum mansion converted into a theme park built atop a hidden dino cloning lab. Okay. Family inherits a decaying southern mansion rumored to be haunted and decides to turn it into a ghosts and dinosaurs experience. But when the park's eccentric scientist reawakens the real creatures below, the dinosaur spirits begin manifesting as ghosts. Family must enlist a sleazy paranormal exorcist to send the dino spirits back before their Jurassic souls overrun the afterlife. A T-Rex haunting the ballroom is a shimmering ghostly projection. Exorcist trying to negotiate with an undead velociraptor. running gag about antebellum ghosts offended by dinosaurs taking their haunting space. So as you can see, it's very silly. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. The South will roar again. That's a tagline. What's this one? Dixie Bones, a haunted park story. Campy satire with horror comedy flair. Near future, Southern Heritage Jurassic Resort combining historical reenactments and clone dinosaurs. Corporate investors open a theme park where guests can experience an authentic antebellum life alongside clone dinosaurs, because why not? Everything goes wrong on opening weekend. As it would. This is actually quite funny. Dinosaurs escape, Civil War reenactors are eaten, and the ghosts of real historical figures rise up to complain about the historical inaccuracies. Beetlejuice 2.0 chaotic PR exorcist brought in to clean up the hauntings while making things much worse. So as you can see, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but it is actually some of these I can see how you could build out an idea here. Especially if we kind of skip the dinosaurs part, which was really the most out of left field part of this. You could definitely get a southern horror comedy with ghosts and, like, again, Gone with the Wind and Beetlejuice actually goes together a bit easier. But there are still some things that you could do here, because if you think about it, the 1800s was kind of when dinosaur craze kind of started. Maybe a little bit. Well, 1800s, that sounds about right. I have to think about that. I'd have to do some research and check that, but I think it was kind of the 1800s was kind of the golden age of people really starting to get into dinosaur crazy stuff. The dinosaur craze and kind of the Egyptology and paleontology and all that stuff. All the ologies got kind of popular. Wind over the bone fields. A mysterious island where Confederate refugees fled after the war and built a new society on a land where life and death intertwine. Idealistic Southern woman arrives on the island with dreams of starting anew, only to find the colonists resurrecting dinosaurs and beasts of burden. Haunted by spirits of enslaved and prehistoric, animated dead, start fusing with the resurrected creatures. She must ally with a grotesque undead trickster to escape before the island consumes them all. See, now this is where we start getting into some weirdness. And you have two different things clashing here, which is ghosts and dinosaurs. But that was kind of the point of the exercise. But if you think about it, on either side, if again we separate either the dinosaurs or the ghosts out of it, we have some potentially interesting story ideas here that could be worked with. This is very Land of the Lost. What is the movie? It's from the Civil War, the soldiers in the balloon that crash land on an island that has dinosaurs and prehistoric beasts on it. That Land of the Lost was a TV show, but there was a movie. But that's how it started. It was people from the Civil War on a balloon. Pretty sure. But that's where I'm kind of thinking this one, Wind Over the Bone Fields. You could have these Confederate refugees flee to this island, and it's full of prehistoric creatures like some dinosaurs, and they start trying to kind of dinotopia their way into using them as their new beasts of burden. They don't have slaves anymore, so they use the dinosaurs. It goes wrong. So you have a story there. Or the idea of uh, kind of this one right here. You take the dinosaurs out of it. You have this uh, antebellum mansion, perhaps an heir. Somebody has inherited this mansion, and it's rumored to be haunted. So we can bring some ghost hunting stuff, modern day ghost hunting stuff into it and say, okay, this this person has inherited this mansion. They can't really afford it. What are they going to do to pay on the upkeep of this mansion? Maybe even try to remodel it. Maybe they're hoping they can sell it. So they think ghosts. This place is always supposed to have been haunted. I'm going to start really pushing that. Start renting out timed ghost hunters. I'm going to put what I can into opening it up as a haunted bed and breakfast and all of this stuff. But what happens when it turns out that the ghosts are real? So from this very silly prompt idea, sorry about that, I think I just popped the mic. But again, from this very silly prompt that was just showing that you could mishmash just about anything you want, and ChatGPT will not tell you you're nuts. It will try to give you something. A lot of time it won't make any damn sense. But of course, if you put together some things that do make more sense, it's going to give you better results. So if you say, give me some plot ideas, mix scene. Oh, let's say, um, what's a couple of good ones? Well, we can do two different genres, and it does know what that means. And Star Wars. It's going to give you ideas mixing Lord of the Rings to Star Wars. Now, it isn't necessarily going to be something that you can just copy paste and you have your plot idea to start with. Sometimes it'll give you something that's really good, but a lot of times it's the sort of thing where you're going to be picking and choosing little bits and pieces and finding things that you like. So yeah, I gave 7 this time. The Last Star Wizard. Magic once flowed freely through the stars until a great sundering separated the realms of science and sorcery. Centuries later, a cynical star freighter captain crashes on a primitive world where magic still exists and is mistaken for the prophesied Star Wizard, destined to unite the divided cosmos. Mandalorian meets the Hobbit with humor, warmth, and reluctant heroism. After 1,000 years of war, the galactic crown is shattered, and the remnants of its nobility retreat to fortress worlds. The Jedi equivalent, the Wardens of the Flame, are outlawed after a failed rebellion. A young scavenger on a desolate mining moon uncovers a shard of the crown, which awakens the echo of an ancient flame warden within them. Pursued by Imperial Inquisitors, they must unite a broken galaxy under a new light, but the crown spirit may have its own plans. See, that's something that you could build out into a story. And this is how you can use ChatGPT or other AI. I happen to like ChatGPT for this sort of stuff because it works really well. It's free to use. They give you quite a lot of time and not credits necessarily, but word amount and uh, memory space. I'm not sure how they exactly uh, give it to you. I think it might be the amount of characters that it generates. but it gives you quite a lot you can do, and you constantly get more. I find that even if I hit my limit trying to build something out, it'll only be like maybe an hour or two I have to wait, if that, before I get a renewed amount and can continue. And since they're already on one of their their newer models, the older models still can give you pretty good results, and you can use the older model without any limitation at all. So yeah, this is how I like to use ChatGPT for plot ideas. If I have just like something that, say maybe I was watching a gamer on YouTube play Dark Souls, or a Souls-like game, like oh, what was one that I watched not that long ago? That black the Wukong. I can't remember the full title of it. It was kind of a Souls-like. Uh, I can't remember the full name. That was one not that long ago. Um, there's one that was more recent, but I can't think of the name of it. But let's say that, yeah, I was watching somebody play that. I'm gonna have to do this again. Generally, if I'm not going to use something, I delete it so I don't have it cluttering up my chat on the sidebar. Again, give me some plot ideas, mixing. Let's go with Bloodborne. Now, here's where we would say, okay, we know we want something that's kind of built around Bloodborne. Let's see, I was watching, uh, Luke, that used to be part of the Outside Xbox crew. He did a randomized Bloodborne playthrough, I believe, not that long ago. And there was also, is it Max, I think is his name, that did a randomized Bloodborne playthrough that I watched. It's really fun to watch. So anyway, let's say I watched somebody do a Bloodborne playthrough, and I don't want to just copy Bloodborne, but I would like to incorporate some ideas. So let's think about what Bloodborne has. It's gothic, kind of a gothic horror, I should say, very much like Dracula, Frankenstein, classic uh, Universal horror movie type vibes going on. You have this blood virus thing, or kind of Lovecraftian, very Lovecraftian elements to it. A lot of the Dark Souls stuff has a lot of Lovecraftian elements, cosmic horror. But let's say we want to mix some of those elements with something a little bit fun. So let's say go back to the isekai stuff. Sometimes it will give you the nicest compliments, a gloriously cursed combo. The Night of Too Many Hunters. So again, it usually will give you about 7 ideas. Somewhere around 5 to 8 seems to be the most common number of things that it'll give you. Okay. The city of Elden Vale is overrun by beasts. The Adventurers Guild decides to recruit off-worlders through divine summoning to fix it. Unfortunately, they keep summoning losers. The guild's finest weapon, the Silver Moon Halberd, ends up fused to the laziest reincarnate. One party member joins a cult just because they serve free tea. They try to game the system, farming monsters for XP, but keep glitching the world, causing reality lag. Cosmic entities start arguing about game balance. Okay. There's some interesting things there. It depends on if you want to go more for the RPG elements or stick more to just comedy, fantasy, isekai mixed with Bloodborne. Darkly philosophical but funny. What if Konosuba characters accidentally discovered the true secret to surviving Lovecraftian madness is not taking it seriously? See, that's the sort of thing you could very much build into a good story. So, again, this is how you can use ChatGPT to help you come up with some plot ideas if all you have is the barest seed of something. As long as you have something, you can give it a prompt of some kind and it will give you something to work with. And from there, I like to view this as a very organic way of building out a story, especially when you're first starting. You're trying to come up with your initial ideas, your characters, all of the world building, all of that. It's an organic process. It's like growing a flower or a tree. And as long as you have that first initial seed, something, you can use ChatGPT to get more ideas. And again, gave, I think it was 6 ideas, 6 different things here. 6 different things. What you do is that you have your trusty document over here, and you just have that there, and you have your ChatGPT over here, and you just kind of go through and say, I really liked down here, I loved the tone thing here. I need a new mouse. Unfortunately, this one is having some real problems. So we don't want actual Konosuba characters. That was just our. What if the characters accidentally discover the true secret of surviving Lovecraftian madness is not taking it seriously? So we have a tone and kind of a tagline and thing. In this one, I love this idea too. The premise and up to here. I don't really like. You will find that ChatGPT has some flaws in it. All AIs do. And one of the things is that if you try to inject gaming things into a story, like RPG lit type stuff, it will tend to gravitate heavily towards glitching things. The world is glitching there. Something is glitching. Not quite sure why it does it. Maybe that is a very common trope, and the reason why the AI tends to gravitate towards that is because a lot of the other RPG lit stuff tends to gravitate towards that. I'm not sure. Don't know. Maybe. Not sure. But I'm not a big fan. If I'm going to create a story built around a world that's like an RPG, I don't want that RPG world to start falling apart and being glitchy. I don't necessarily want it to be an actual RPG coded game world. I want it to be a world where the magic just kind of happens for some reason to be a lot like RPG mechanics. So we've got some plot ideas here. And then we can look at some more of this stuff. So, goddess accidentally sends her chosen hero to the wrong world. Explodes an obsessed wizard Megumin when winds up in Bloodborne like Nightmare Realm. So again, we don't want actual characters from the anime or the novels and manga and all that in this, but this is actually kind of funny. So, but it kind of conflicts with that they're summoning. Not necessarily, though. They keep summoning losers, so we could have 2 things that are happening here. They keep summoning losers, so we could have 2 characters. a goddess that accidentally sends her chosen hero to the wrong world, and this world is summoning in people from other worlds, but they keep summoning in people who are not really helpful. So then you have this kind of juxtaposition that can be going on. You have the goddess who actually needed this hero character for her world, but accidentally, or maybe, it's like your life didn't go the way you wanted. I'm the benevolent goddess. I'm going to send you to a new world. I'm going to give you the isekai treatment and let you have a second chance. But instead of getting the fun fantasy world, you get sent to Bloodborne Horrorland. However you want to play it. So you could have this character who has actually been blessed by the benevolent goddess of second chances and is competent. Nice for the horrible world that he or she is getting sent to, but is surrounded by a bunch of incompetent jackasses. Lots of humor ensues. So as you can see, once more, go back to the original point, you can use ChatGPT to get tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of ideas, and then you can pick and choose bits and pieces you like, get rid of all the stuff that you don't like, and build out your plot idea. Next time, we're going to be going over how you can take that plot idea and then feed it back into ChatGPT to build it out even more. But for now, I'm going to leave this video here. I think I've gone on long enough on the topic. Hopefully you've seen some good, I gave you some good information. You've seen some things that can help you out if you're kind of stuck or having some trouble with coming up with plots and, figuring out where to start. Because sometimes figuring out where to start is the hardest part. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.